Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well out there because the world feels very dark and bleak at the moment. And in terms of bad news, I cannot read one more single thing. It's taken me a really long time to edit this video because I just feel kind of silly in a way, being like,
hey everyone, let's play with clay because nothing matters.
But at the same time, making space for hobbies, something to distract you or make you happy or like give you, I don't know, one single moment of peace also seems kind of important right now. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna craft. Maybe you can too. We'll do it together. It'll be fun. In addition to me making stuff on this channel, it's also become a place where I get to just like pop in and talk to you guys about whatever I'm interested in. Like, what random fandom is she gonna be fixated on this week? But I really like the story and like the world building of Zelda. A cartoon series called Over the Garden Wall. I have a whole new life that I made on my island. Harry Potter is my number one forever. I'm also interested in ghosts. And well, I also like Star Wars. Original trilogy specifically, I guess. I'm not mad at the prequels. I just don't much care for the newer Disney trilogy that they put out. In fact, when I first saw what they did to Luke Skywalker's character development, I angry cried in the bathtub for like an hour, which I don't think is an appropriate response to that situation, but it was mine. But in general, the Star Wars universe, the lore, the spin-offs, like I'm here for all of it. That being said, I just really like Ewoks. I always have, and that's what I want to make today. Like some little plant guardian type figurines. So I hope you'll join me. Let's get into it. Quick disclaimer as we get started here. I film my videos in a room with lots of windows and natural light, which means if I don't work at similar hours every day, then the lighting continuously changes in my shot. And I happen to work on these at like all hours of the day, which made it very annoying to edit these clips together and try to color correct and make it all look cohesive. So if you notice that the lighting or the color tone changes throughout the video, no, you don't. Don't worry about it. It's all fine and it looks very natural and effortless. Thank you very much. Okay, now back to the video. Actually, hold up. Let's pause. Let's go back. I thought it might be interesting to show a part of my process that I haven't showed here on the channel before, and that's drawing out my idea before I even sculpt it. So I'm going for a little trio of Ewoks here. 3 pals, 3 warriors, each with their own unique personality that I'll try to convey using different poses or expressions. I start out with my sketch and then I'll just drop in some colors so I can get an idea of what they'll all look like together, and so I know what color paints to pull out from my art bins. And here's what we got. Here's our reference. Here's what we're going for. Okay, now back to the clay. Once I've smoothed out a little lump of a body here, I'm roughly marking out where I want the face and the hood to sit, and then I'm attaching on some legs to the front of the form. This Ewok is going to be seated, so her legs are out in front, kind of off to the side, like she's just sprawled out in the dirt. I'll reinforce these legs, smoothing some extra clay around the seams. This helps prevent cracking and just makes those protruding pieces more sturdy. Then I'm taking a carving tool and shaving down the area where I want her face to be. I want it to look kind of set back from the hood, so we're getting a little bit of perspective here. Like she's really wearing the hood, you know? And I'm also going to shave down some of that volume on her body right under the hood and try to smooth all that down with my fingers and a wet paintbrush. I've created a lot of cuts and texture doing that, so we need to get her looking right again. Right now, I recognize that the cloth hood looks more like a space helmet, so hopefully that will improve as we keep going. I'm attaching on the arms, working on her little pose here. In the sketch I did, you might have noticed that the Ewoks were holding spears. I feel like that is a must. They absolutely need spears. So I'm pressing a toothpick into her open hand here to create a space for her spear to sit, and we'll make that part later on. But yeah, I think this should work. I'm gonna add some final details onto her face, give her a puffy tail, some ears, and a little piggy nose, and that'll be it for our sculpt. We can move on to the other two figures. I'll go through these next two a little bit faster. I'm doing the same thing, just adjusting the placement of the hood and arms and legs on each so they look a little bit different. The last Ewok, she was cool. She was chillin', not a care, but this new fellow here is more concerned. He's more jumpy, so we're gonna try to reflect that in his body language. We're making all of his limbs face inward, like he's trying to curl up into a ball of fear and anxiety. But you bet he's still hanging on to that spear. I gotta wiggle the toothpick in one arm, kind of between the legs here. It's a little bit of an awkward angle, but that's okay. I'm also trying to make the spear hole a little bit wider than the toothpick actually is, because as the clay dries, as the moisture leaves it, I have a feeling that opening could shrink a little bit, so I'm just giving myself some extra allowance here. Now, this third Ewok is going to be standing up. I realized I've never actually made any creature of mine standing up before, so I wasn't exactly sure how to do that. I just kept the legs really chunky, like still touching, still thick enough that hopefully it should be able to stay standing up. Both of his arms are going to be reaching out wide, like the proud warrior that he is. I got his spear ready, we got the details, and we should be good to go. 2 days later, our squad is all dry and ready to paint. I'm using acrylic paint here. I'll give everyone a nice base layer of white, and then we can get into it, get into the colors. Okay, I picked out my fur colors here. Our first Ewok is going to be a nice chocolate brown. If you're wondering what the heck is on her head, just don't worry about it. I had this idea that I would cover them all in leaves as if they were like lost in the forest or something. I added one leaf onto her head and then changed my mind. I didn't really like it as much, but I waited too long to take it off and it was really stuck on there good. So she just has a random leaf on her head. I don't know, get into it, I guess. Our second Ewok will be a really dark blue-toned gray. I thought that might look a little bit more interesting than just going with plain black. And then Ewok number 3 is going to be a lighter, more of a honey brown shade. Once those base colors are done, we can get into laying down some of the details. My general art style is more cutesy, I guess you could say, because I fully just painted these things like teddy bears. We've got a lighter patch of fur on the face, a little round tummy, and then I also did some paw prints on the bottom of the feet. But I made the toe prints look a little bit more like claws. See that? Ooh, so scary. I added some more pops of color on the tail and the ears. Yeah, good deal. We'll do the same thing on our other two fellas here in their own complementary shades. Now, back to that cutesy comment. I just love adding rosy cheeks to everything. I could do this all day. I like how it looks, okay? I like the pop of color. I won't be stopped. I won't. I'm gonna keep doing it. Okay, let's add some color to their hoods now. I'll be mixing a couple different shades until I settle on the right one. This girl is getting a rich autumn orange color for her hood, and then our next guy, more of like a deep cerulean blue, if you will. And then our last one here is getting a green hood that I would describe as like a campground green. I don't know. Does that hit with anybody? Sure. And now that we've got some good coverage on these critters, we can go in with the details. I'm going to color in their noses and eyes. In my sketch, I had some kind of semblance of a fur texture. I'd like to add something extra, a little oomph to their fur. So I went in and added some little hair strokes in a lighter color, which really just turned out looking like they're covered in sprinkles, but I'm also not mad at it. It's okay. Then we can add some faces on here. I gave everyone a nice set of buck teeth. Really, really charming and fully necessary. I think more of my characters need buck teeth after this. It just looks so cute. And then lastly, I'm adding some stitch markings onto their hoods. Like they've been wearing these for a while. They've been on adventures. And once I'm happy with the paint job, I need to seal it in with a glossy top coat. Hit everybody with a few coats of that and make them real glossy. And we're not done quite yet. We have to make their spears. I have this Sculpey oven baked clay in this stone color. I thought that was perfect. I won't even have to paint it. It already looks like a rock. I just formed some tiny arrowheads onto the tip of the toothpick, baked those, and once they're hardened, I can glue them into place. I painted the toothpicks dark brown off camera. And then lastly, I'm just taking some embroidery floss in matching colors and wrapping and tying that off just below the arrowhead. And once those are done, let's see what we're working with here. Yep, just what I thought. Endor's bravest warriors embarking on a noble quest. This here is the leader of the group. He's not the sharpest spear in the shed, but he does have heart. Our next guy was unclear on the parameters of the mission. He's never actually been in the woods by himself, and his grandma is gonna be mad. And lastly, this is my personal favorite. She was actually just out in the woods eating berries and got roped into hanging out with these guys. But all these Ewoks are listed for sale in my Etsy shop. I'll leave a link down below if you'd like to adopt one. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!